What if I told you that your credit score says nothing about how rich you are? It doesn't track your income. It doesn't track your investments. So what does it track? And why do we treat it like a status symbol? Let's break down the scam behind the credit system. Your credit score doesn't mean you are financially smart, or that you are financially buoyant, or that you're rich, or that you are even wealthy. What it means, and I'm going to say it in plain English, is that you are a consistent debtor, or someone who is good at borrowing other people's money and not missing any payments. My name is Funke Ogunjobi. With decades of experience in finance and accounting, I use my channel to share practical and finance tips, including how to earn money, how to manage your finances or your money well, how to grow or multiply it, and also how to legally reduce your tax burdens. And today, on this channel, I'll be revealing that hidden side of credit cards that could change the game for your finances. You don't want to miss a second, because once you make this mindset shift, your journey to wealth can become smarter, faster, and stronger. So if you're someone that you flex over having 800 credit score, you dance all around. January it was 700 credit score, February it was 950, March it was 957, in April it was 888. You just have to know, my brother, my sister, that it doesn't mean you're rich. It doesn't even mean that you're smart with money. It just means you're good at staying in debt. I know it sounds really harsh, but if you're proud of having these perfect scores all the time and you haven't got anything in your savings or investments, you know what? You are not winning. You're just playing into a system that has been built to keep you and I in debt. So in this particular video, I'm going to break down what credit score really is and how it works, and why chasing it could be stopping you from getting rich. So let's stop pretending that your credit score says anything good about your financial success. It doesn't say anything at all, and you could have a perfect score like 850 and above and still be one paycheck away from being broke. Because your credit score doesn't measure your wealth. It doesn't care how much you earn. It doesn't care how much you've saved. It doesn't even care if you've got 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, or 9 figures saved or invested somewhere. All it tracks is one thing: how well you save your debts. So if you stop borrowing today, your score drops. If you pay off a credit card or close off one just because you finished paying it, your score drops. This system does not reward financial discipline. It doesn't reward you keeping money. It rewards how deep you're willing to sink into debt and how reliably you keep playing the game over and over again. It is not a tool to build wealth. It is a leash, because you're not building wealth. You're building trust for the lenders, not for yourself. Your credit score is built on 5 main components. Component number 1, payment history. So this includes how consistently you pay your bills on time, as well as the severity of any late or missed payment. I'll explain this. When we talk about severity of any late or missed payment, it means that when you missed a payment, say it was due today, you didn't pay, the company will try to get the money in the next few days or maybe in a week, and you will get an email, for example, to say that we tried getting this money but didn't have sufficient funds in your account. We will try to take it again on this particular day. So all of this information, is being used by the credit bureau. The credit bureau is the office in charge of compiling all this information and creating or generating your credit score from there. So if you had missed a payment, for example, over a long period of time, all this information will be fed into your credit score at the end of the day. So that is why I had mentioned there the severity of any late or missed payment. In general, what this payment history is doing is just asking, did you pay your bills on time? The second one is credit utilization, and this measures how much credit you have spent or used to date compared to your total limit, to your total credit limit. So for example, if you have 3 cards and each one has got £1,000 credit on it, and you've used to date £2,500, your utilization rate is 83%, and this is considered really, really high. It's going to in some way impact your credit score, and it could, bring it down in such a way that it will be difficult for you, if you don't pay it on time, get back to the score that you were before you hit that 83% utilization rate. So the third component is length of credit history. And this is just telling us, how long you've had your account, active for. The longer your history of using credit responsibly, the better for your score. If you've only had your credit card, for example, let's say like 2 years, your score may fall short compared to someone with much older account. The fourth component of how your credit score is built is new credit applications. So when you've applied for too many cards in just a short period of time, you will see that this will negatively impact your score, as lenders may see it as a sign of financial distress. The fifth one, credit mix. When you have a mix of different credit accounts, say credit cards, loans, mortgages, and others like that, you are demonstrating your ability to manage various types of credit responsibly. And this, the credit bureau will like about you, because they want you to have multiple types of debts that you worry about day and night. You would have noticed something about all these factors or components, that none of it is actually saying anything about your actual financial stability. It's just monitoring how well you manage your debts and not how well you build wealth. And here is what is really wild, what is really crazy and really strange. You see, you could max up your credit cards every month. Say, for example, you've got £10,000 on a credit card and you've spent £9,980, meaning that you've got £20 left on the card. And as long as you are paying it small, you know when to pay, you pay, your score will still go up. Meanwhile, someone who pays everything in cash, who owns their home, they don't have any mortgage, and doesn't even use credit at all, they might have no score at all, because the system is built to favor debts. And that's not financial freedom. That is a rigged game. So when people flex, or when you flex your 800 score next time, just know that number says nothing about your net worth. It doesn't say anything about your savings. It doesn't even say anything about your investment portfolio. It's not really something to celebrate. Some people, they've told me a lot of times, and I'm familiar with that, I get it. They tell me, oh, Funke, do you know what? I use my credit score to get better interest rates. Fair enough. But here is the question. Why borrow at all? See, before you borrow, you must have a cogent reason for it. Don't borrow for the sake of borrowing, especially for things that drop in value. Why should you borrow for a fancy vacation? Why should you borrow for nice clothes? Why should you be spending credit cards on these things? That is not clever. It is a costly mistake. Now, let me be clear. If it doesn't make you money, you shouldn't be financing it. Debt should be used wisely for assets that grow or earn you income. Otherwise, you are just handing over interest payments for short-term satisfaction. That is not wealth building. It is just financial self-sabotage. So this is when debt can be a tool. Now, don't get it twisted. Debt isn't always bad. Use strategically. Debt can help build wealth, especially in real estate or business. If you borrow to buy an asset that produces income, the numbers make sense. That is called leverage. But if you borrow for something that depreciates, like a fancy holiday, nice clothes, shoes and bags, then this is dump. Stop doing this to yourself. You're just making the banker richer while you stay stuck and broke. I use credit cards. I love the points. I like the rewards. I like the travel perks. And I like the fraud protection. But here is the key. I try as much as possible not to carry a balance. So if you're using credit cards for rewards, a lot of times some of these credit cards will tell you, if you use this, you get this rewards, £2 here, £1 there, fancy rewards that they advertise. And let's say in a month, the totality of the rewards that you have is £20. And in the same month, you're paying £75 in interest. Now tell me, are you losing or are you winning? They have a catch. You have to be wise. If it's not worth it, you don't spend it. So use your card as a tool, not a crutch. Try as much as possible to pay in full. Treat it like a debit card, but with benefits. Otherwise, those little points will be costing you way more than you think. So let's look at the bigger picture. Building real wealth. You need to forget chasing a credit score. You need to start chasing ownership. You need to start looking at owning assets that will make you money. You own your home eventually and not emotionally. You want to own your time. And here is the real truth. Credit scores are temporary. Wealth is permanent. So you need to stop asking yourself, where is my score? Or what is my score? Start asking, what is my net worth? What is my cash flow? What do I actually own? You see, if you really want to build wealth, your focus shouldn't be on your credit score. It should be building assets. So you can give it 2 to 5 years, but you stay locked in. You own stocks, own shares, own real estate, own a business. Get your pensions together, earn money, spend less, and invest the difference. I call it sacrifice, and yeah, it is, because it is not easy, but this is necessary. It means you're living under your means and not going hard on investing. So if you're stacking assets that grow and pay you over time, that is good, because eventually that wealth will buy you freedom. You can take the trips, you can wear the brands, you can enjoy the lifestyle without debt, because your assets are paying the bill. So when is debt okay? If you are living by my rules, if you are living by my examples, it's never for anything that doesn't make you money. Tough truth. Maybe, but that's the price of real wealth. You know what you need to do now? Stop playing into that debt credit game. Start building your own wealth. You see, you and I weren't born to flex debt. No, we were built to own our own assets when we think and when we are strategic. Credit scores don't create freedom. I know that because I have been in a lot of mess in the past, but I came out. You see, owning assets does. Stop chasing numbers that benefit banks. Start chasing assets that build your future. It won't be easy. It won't be fast, I can assure you, but it will be worth it at the end of the day. Now, go away with this slogan: discipline now, freedom later. Because real wealth isn't about what you borrow. It's about what you own, what you have control over, what you've grown. Make the sacrifice today. Stay focused and build the life you don't need credit to afford. If this gave you a wake-up call, hit the button. It's taking a lot of time and effort to put this together for you. And if you know someone who is chasing credit clouds while they are broke, share this with them. And I'll see you in the next video. Until then, remember, discipline now, freedom later.